everyone, this is Lenny Shooter, and welcome to Mystical Forest Season 2. Yes, guys, we are officially starting up the season. Isn't that wonderful? Before we officially start, I want to just thank Ethan Coy for making the series and for everything he's done for the mod pack and for all the people. I want to thank everyone who's in Mystical Forest for being there, and I'm hoping that we're all gonna have an awesome time together. It's all the same people from last season, so don't worry, we haven't really lost anyone, although there are a few people who are a little behind. At least that's the info I know for now, but I believe they will arrive eventually. So, before we actually start with the actual mining and digging and gathering of resources, I just want to explain this that originally our idea for season 2 was to make a roleplay. However, we're going more for survival style after all. So most people would probably just do survival. However, I decided I am still gonna go a little on the roleplay side. So I'm gonna mix in survival and roleplay together. So when I'm here, I could either be roleplaying something 1 second and the other I'll be saying or talking about stuff that wouldn't make completely sense to the roleplay itself. But technically, I'm gonna explain to you guys the story of Lenny Foxglove, which is my character, and what happened to me where I end up in this house. So, everyone enjoy my little backstory thingy before we start up with survival. We used to live in a much smaller place back then. It wasn't very big, and it was only me, my mom, and my dad. And of course the animals, which I took very well care of. But it was very lonely to grow up in this house. Eventually my little brother Johnny also arrived, and at least I got a playmate, but you know, when you spend half your life alone, it doesn't really help much. My mom would always stay in the kitchen, cook and make delicious food, as well as when she did go out, she would go out gathering herbs and all kinds of fairy stuff that she always found. She tried to teach me magic, but she said it's something that's gonna come by age, not by how skilled I am or anything like that when I'm a kid. My dad, on the other hand, he mostly took care of the animals. The cows, and sheep, chickens, and our trusty chocobos. We didn't have many. We had one for each of us until Johnny arrived. Then of course there was me, playing on my own like I always did. Then, as I got older, arrived my little brother Johnny. And we were now 4. And I was starting to become an adult. Then came the day of my 16th birthday, which of wolf tradition is to send off your child on a journey where they will discover themselves. And for my fairy mother, well, for her it was no easier. So I laid out on my journey, in search of who I was and where I would belong, hoping that one day I would return to the home that I grew up in. Now, you may have noticed from what I told you, my dad is of the fox kind, and my mother is a fairy. Because of this, I am half fairy and half fox. And now, it was my turn to go on the journey. And travel I did. Across lands, across time, until I came to a place filled with snow. A village in the coldest areas. And that's where I met him. Nova Tundra. I immediately fell in love with him, although I didn't understand it at first, as I was just doing my journey thing. But he was the one. He was the one who was gonna spend his life with me, who I was gonna spend my life with. And so, after a bit of convincing, I brought him home to my family, back where I came from. The journey took me a couple of years, so it would be a while since I saw my family. My brother gotten taller. My family, well, they'd gotten older. My mom and my dad, they couldn't do everything on their own anymore. And not only that, but my mother and father thought that maybe they'd change some things up. Make my brother's life a little more bearable than mine was in the younger days. Find him a village, maybe. And so my dad did. He searched around, asked all travelers he came across, and got to learn of a village very far away. That was the perfect place for us. I don't recall it ever having a name, but this little town, this little village, could become our best home ever. I would move in with my beloved in a little house, and my parents would live up on a hill right by us. I would take care of their farms and everything, and I would help take care of all the villagers in this village and help them with all their problems, running errands and just being helpful. So this is where our story begins. We've just arrived in this village. It's time to start a new life, a new beginning. It is time to follow a new path and to become who I was meant to be. We may start off with nothing, as my motherly tradition is. The fairies always give their children a home, and the werewolves and the werefoxes, all kinds of foxes and wolves out there, they start with nothing. So here we start, an empty house with nothing in it. It's a house. It's me and Nova's house. And let's hope that this adventure may bring something good.